So, according to multiple social media sources, the Christian rapture is supposed to be happening this week. If you're seeing this, then it's obvious that I didn't pass the cosmic purity test. Either that or someone read their scriptures wrong. Either way, I think we should be wary of taking on social media prophecy as a substitute for critical thinking. But while many of us were waiting for the divine Wi-Fi to connect, Big Brother was already staring back at us with cameras, facial recognition, an AI that probably knows more about your bathroom habits than your spouse does, and a Fourth Amendment that's now basically a participation trophy. The official story is that the Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. You know, warrants, probable cause, the whole innocent until proven guilty deal. That was the founders' promise. You own your papers, your effects, your privacy. But somewhere between 1787 and the iPhone 15, privacy got downgraded from a right to a nostalgic bumper sticker. Here's the catch. If you put your entire life in the cloud, then congratulations, you have volunteered for surveillance. Facial recognition cameras don't need warrants. AI-powered tracking doesn't knock on your door or ask a judge before tracking where you drive, who you text, or how long you doom scroll social media at 3 a.m. It just quietly builds a digital case file about you, your habits, your friends, and how often you go to Buc-ee's. Your digital footprint is a permanent, searchable, government-ready file that you volunteered to build every time you clicked on accept all cookies. And the founders never imagined a world where your phone would rat you out faster than a Lance Corporal looking for a 3-day weekend. Right now, Congress is still debating on whether lizard people exist, but haven't passed a real privacy law in decades, and still treat privacy like it's a Blockbuster membership, a relic of the 90s. The Supreme Court probably still believes that the cloud just has to do with weather, and they have lifetime tenure, so they can take decades to decide whether your digital rights exist, if they get around to it before the next data breach. And the agencies running the surveillance dragnet, they operate with about as much transparency as a teenager's browser history and the accountability of a toddler with a permanent marker. But sure, let's keep pretending the 1787 Constitution can handle facial recognition AI. That's like trying to load Call of Duty on a Commodore 64. If we actually care about liberty, we need a modern constitutional convention and a 21st century constitution with real digital rights baked in. We need term limits so Congress can't die in office before ever learning what an algorithm is. We need judicial reform so the Fourth Amendment doesn't get interpreted by people who still call the internet the information superhighway. And we need real checks and balances on government surveillance, warrant requirements, transparency, and an actual path for citizens to fight back when their rights get trampled before we wake up in a society where freedom is just something we talk about on Memorial Day. So no, the world didn't end this week. But if we keep letting privacy die by 1,000 data points, America that the founders fought for might. If the rapture didn't take you, the surveillance state already did. And this one's not prophecy. It's happening in real time, with receipts. The question isn't whether God is watching, it's whether we're okay with the government watching, forever. If you think the founder's legacy deserves an upgrade, drop a comment. Share this with someone who still believes privacy exists, and tell me, what would your Bill of Rights 2.0 look like? Let's start writing a constitution that actually works for the century we're actually living in.